Justin and Michael.
So we talked to Coach Brennan yesterday about live tackling, and he said maybe with high-value players with the current state of college football, maybe you're reluctant to do the live tackling and maybe play guys, have them practice. How do you guys go about that?
We have a philosophy around here where now I'm with you on some of those pieces, because forever the only way you really get good at doing something is to actually do it. So if you don't actually tackle, you're probably not going to be great at it early. When I was at the other school, Herm Edwards, they don't tackle in practice in the NFL. And so we didn't tackle one time live in spring or fall while he was there. And we were a pretty good tackling football team, because that made me adapt and do some things that you didn't normally do. Because if you don't have my argument with him was, well, you guys played 4 preseason games. You're an NFL guy. You played 4 preseason games. You got to tackle for 4 games. We don't. Now it's only 3 preseason games. Now that you've got $20 million running around, or whatever the number is, that's out of my league. You better take care of some of those pieces, because if you don't and you lose a big investment, all of a sudden your team's hurt. And so adapting to some of the things we did, the bags and the way we move. Now we've got a dummy that you can move that has wheels, and we can drive it around. We don't have anybody smart enough to drive it yet, but we'll figure that piece out, We get those things flying around. We got dummies that we hit every single day. We got donuts that move and roll around. Those aspects, how can you create movement and still tackle? Well, we don't break down around here. There is no stutter your feet, slow your feet. No. If you see a corner running up and trying to knife a wide out in half on a 5-yard route and he misses, I don't consider that a missed tackle, because we got 2 or 3 other angry dudes that are going to get him within 1 to 2 yards. Now, if they get 4 or more or 3 or more yards on a yards after a catch, then it's a missed tackle. And it's not on those guys, it's on the guys that are pursuing to the football. So we do not break down. And you saw it on Saturday. We're going to run through the soul of somebody's body and see if we can knock the soul out of them. And so when you do that, it creates, 1, they get excited about it, 2, it's seek and destroy, and 3, you miss less tackles because of it, and I think it showed Saturday. We had 1 missed tackle on Saturday that I deemed a missed tackle. It was on the 3rd and 8. They run a little hitch route. Max is coming across, and he's going to gator roll, but he gator rolls to the hip. You got to gator roll with the knees. And so he slung him, and the guy went down for another 15 yards. Outside of that, we didn't miss a tackle. Now, that wasn't Max Harris's fault, because the other 3 guys that were coming in are the ones that get credit with the missed tackle. The technique of what Max did on that play wasn't real good, but for all the plays that Max had a phenomenal night and did some really good things in there, the other 2 guys that missed on that are the ones that get credited with the missed tackle. So that's how we solve it.
Michael and Jason?
Clearly, the way the defensive backs were hitting their receivers was an impactful part of the game. But I also heard guys using the term launch on Saturday. And sometimes when you hear launch, you also think about targeting and reference the technique that Genesis used on that one play. What are the coaching techniques that you're teaching to differentiate between maybe launching and getting that foul?
So 2 things: you can never hit them in the head. That's completely getting taken out of the game. Like any kind of headshot, whether you do it with a forearm, whether you do it with helmet to helmet, anytime you hit any opponent in the head, it's going to be targeting. So you eliminate that piece. You cannot go to the head violent anymore. You used to be able to. Now you can't. Okay. You can't hit anybody with this portion of your helmet. Like, 1, it's not safe for you, but 2, you're going to get told for targeting if you hit them anywhere on the body with the crown of your helmet right there. Okay. Now, seeing what you hit, there's some difference in opinion on that. I'm big in seeing what you hit, because when your face is here and all the stuff that we do, now I think you saw the vigilance of having 346 guys. 46, I wish we had 346. 46 guys that can power clean 300 pounds, and the violence that comes with it, and all those DBs that you're talking about that made the hits, and the D linemen that are running the ball. That's because they have explosive power because of that. They all want to hit, and as they're coming through with contact, you want this part of your neck right here, and all the neck stuff we do, you want that thing solid. Because when you go here, now you've exposed your spine, and that's when injuries happen. And when you see guys get hit on the side of the head, it's because they're here. That's because this is exposed. So it's see where you're at violently, and then everything we lead into when it's a contact, whether it be a guy in the air or they're coming across the middle. In today's day in football, if you hit them too hard, they're going to call a penalty. If you run through them near foot, near shoulder, so as you're trying to strike, your first foot near closest to them is the first thing that comes, and then the near shoulder goes through it. Your head's out of the way, you see what you hit, and you avoid their head because you can't hit near shoulder. You can't hit the helmet with that. And so we do that every single day in practice. Okay, you saw it all fall camp, all the bags we were tackling. Everything is near foot, near shoulder, driving through that, and then it's dominant contact up through the body. And so if you launch, okay, you launch in the air, those launches are going to be the second and third guy in. They're not the initial contact. Unless you've got an angle and you can run this way, now you launch like Trey Smith did on the third play of the game, okay? You're keeping now everything in football, every time you violently hit somebody, you've got to use your hands. When you do it with your body or your shoulder, one, it's soft, and two, you lose leverage or you lose the advantage of being able to strike. So their hands should be miserable. Like by the fifth game, you shouldn't be able to tie your shoes. That's why you see all our guys walking around with slides on, because your fingers are so violently used from striking every single day that it should have hurt like that. And so that's how we avoid the targeting aspect of it. And it is a huge emphasis every single day for one, safety, so that they can walk after they play, and two, so that we don't get guys thrown out. And that was perfect picture of Genesis knocking that ball out near foot, near shoulder. It's teach shape, so now we get to put that clip on there and say this is exactly why we do this every single day.
Jason and Justin?
I know you kind of just said before, but how would you classify the linebacker play, and then what would have added Riley Wilson back? I know you mentioned the radio.
Yep, last night Riley Wilson will play this weekend. I thought Jabari Man played really well. We had a little wager in our office because I think Jabari Man's going to be a really good player. I won the wagers. You can clarify whatever you want to think that bet was. But Jabari is really physical, 300-pound power cleaner, runs through with dominant contact. Max Harris, some of those guys, some of those things in coverage, all of a sudden they're dumping it to a back and it looks like Max is getting exposed. It just happened to be him every time on Saturday night. Well, if I'm Max, I'm cussing out the D lineman in front of me who didn't run the stunt and take up that guy blocking him, and now you put me in a really bad position. But Max made some great tackles in open space when he shouldn't even have had to. Tay Brown did a great job. I thought they did a great job with disguising blitzes and coming from different angles. Riley Wilson adds to that. Chase Kennedy is dynamic both on and off the line of scrimmage. And Chase Kennedy, for all the doubters that thought he wouldn't be very good off the ball, did a really good job off the ball, minus one play on Saturday night. And he will continue to get better. So I think there was Jabari gives us some added depth that nobody expected. I thought Jabari was going to be really good last year because most of the time, running backs make really good linebackers, and he was a really good running back in high school. And so Max has a dynamic shift move. We're good. We can keep going. He has a dynamic shift move that makes him really hard to block. So if we can continue down that path, and there's potentially one or two more. Myron Robinson is close to getting back, and he's really smart for a true freshman. Carter Jones has done some really good things in practice. Okay, Blake Gocher gets healthy and continue to progress. We've got some guys that will give us some added depth as we go forward, and plus it helps Coach Niver and our special teams with those depths. So we really need to get Myron back, and then have those guys continue, Blake and Carter. And then Brandon Craddock, who's our starting one of our starting bulls on the punt team. That dude might be the smartest guy on our team. And he made a mistake on Saturday night. Like, we've all made mistakes because of the excitement of playing. He can go out there and be exactly where he's supposed to be. And I trust that. So we've got pieces in there that we didn't have last year that makes it really nice.
The last two will be Justin and Michael.
So we just spoke to Malachi Bailey about his upbringing, how he got here. What impresses you about his rise to where he's at now?
Well, his godly numbers at Alcorn State, first off, make you excited, okay? And it doesn't matter what the competition is. When you have 28 sacks in that amount of time, you could be playing against air, and it's hard to get 28 sacks. So the dude has a very unique set of skills. Here we go again with the Justin Flo comment from last year. And Flo had 5 tackles, by the way, for UNLV. I'm so excited for that kid. Like, he's freaking playing his tail off, which is a perfect opportunity for him. But Malachi Bailey does some things that is really hard to block. He's really quick twitch for being as big as he is. I mean, he's almost 280 pounds, 272, I think it was yesterday. And he's got a presence on the edge. And he's one of those guys, like, one of the plays, understanding the entire scheme and what we're doing, and they're getting better at that every time. But we had a 4-man inside pressure, and he made an inside move on Luke Weaver that we had told them earlier, if Mike is in the game, go ahead and make that inside move because you'll be able to contain it and cut him off. Well, with Weaver in the game, he was able to get outside a little bit, and Malley would have had 1.5 sacks and possibly 2.5 if he'd have made it on the 12th drive. But he comes inside and doesn't get vertical fast enough. Once he completely figures out, like, okay, I got this thing coming to me, he's going to have 3 or 4 more sacks just by being in the right spot. And that comes with practice, comes with knowledge of the scheme. All those things work in my brain because I've been doing this for 20-some years in the same scheme, 27. And so he is, and he's a neat kid. Grew up in Atlanta. He graduated from Alcorn State, which is an HBCU, which is a really prestigious and really cool deal. One of the first in his family. And then came all the way to Arizona. And in the spring had a conversation because in the spring, I think there was a lot of, I don't want to say he disappointed, but he wasn't as flashy and as good as we thought. And I think he was thinking a lot. And I'm like, well, hey, like you're going to have a great fall camp to be able to earn the opportunities that you want. So if you want to get in the portal and you think you can find somewhere where there's a better opportunity to play, like being honest, you better have 2 mindsets. No, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to prove you that you're wrong and I'm going to do everything right in fall camp and be a great player, or I'm going to go find another spot. And the second I said it, he's like, I ain't going anywhere and you're wrong. I'm like, well, good for you, okay? Because I hope I am wrong. And in fall camp, he proved me wrong from the spring. So 1, good for him, and 2, it's a benefit for our football team. And he's a really awesome kid. Like he shouldn't say kid, he's a young man, and he's gonna have significant impact on our football team, which is awesome.
We'll finish up with Michael.
You mentioned some of the guys who are going to come back on Saturday. We haven't seen yet. Where do things stand with Traden at this point?
This one, Traden is a unique case because I want to make sure, and Gavin has given me this luxury. We plan on playing a long time and a lot of football. And so I want to make sure, Traden Stukes could have played on Saturday night. He is ready to go and chomping at the bit. We got a lot of football, and the experience that Gavin gained on Saturday night was really valuable, especially for our football team. So we're going to make sure that Traden is 1,000% ready to go, and he looks really good in practice. Like we did some stuff today with him where he's running and conditioning so that we keep him in shape. And so I'm excited for Traden Stukes to get on the football field and play ball. We're going to make sure it's the perfect timing. And I've done this for a long time, and I have a really good feel. And Geronimo is friggin' awesome, and I'm really excited that with what he's done with some of our guys. And I think there's some things that are probably more conservative than I've been around, but the guys that have come back from this conservative treatment have been phenomenal, and so it's really smart. And when you're planning on, when you've got the CFP and there's 16 games, or you have a bowl game and there's the 12 guaranteed in the 13th, and if you get an opportunity to play in championship, and now you're accumulating all these games. 1, you better have depth so that you compete at the end part of the season, and 2, the longevity of having to play those. So with Traden Stukes, and I think Traden Stukes has an opportunity to be, he's going to play. He's got an opportunity to play in the NFL for a long time because he's got so much value as a football player in both special teams and what he is. He can play corner, he can play safety. Duke can play linebacker because of his knowledge. We're going to make sure that the timing is perfect. Marquise practiced today. We'll see how he is Wednesday, Thursday. And I think we proved that we've got 3 corners that were outstanding on Saturday between Michael and Boog, Javion Cole, and Aiden Garnes. And then John Price came in and had some really good plays. On the 11th drive, on the 11th drive, that was really frustrating. On a 2nd and 10, we had a holding call on Javion Cole. Now I don't think I can get in trouble for this. In my opinion, it wasn't holding. And I thought the referees did an outstanding job on Saturday night. They really did, because when there's not a lot of penalties thrown, the dead ball penalties kill you. When the ball, whether it's offsides or whether it's illegal formation or those things, like they actually destroy a football team. Holding, you can overcome that. Pass interference, the plays that happen when the ball's live, that's going to happen. I thought Javion had he's coming off the ball. The guy, he's got his hands on his shoulder as they're hand fighting, and they both break at the inside. Dave thought he grabbed him. I didn't think he did, but they're going to call those. That's okay. And Genesis dropped an interception on that play. It was a 2nd and 10. I'm glad Genesis dropped it, because that would have been friggin' really, that's insulting at that point. Like Jen dropped it. We should have intercepted the ball and not get a holding call. But it's good, because It's an opportunity. It's a lot easier to coach these guys up and tell them how terrible they were when you win 40-6 than it is if you lose and you tell them how terrible you are. Now you have to build up their confidence. So the reality is, are we good yet? No. Do we play hard? Yes. And that gives you a chance to overcome some of the mistakes we made. But we got to make huge improvement with the old cliche between week 1 and 2. And then we got to continue to progress every single week to be the football team that we want to be. So I'm excited about who we are. We got to coach them better on our side of the ball in the defense. We got to play better, not make mistakes, know what to do and how to do it, and eliminate those possibilities of giving up big plays. But we only had 2 explosive passes on Saturday night. One for, and that's over 15 yards. We had one for 23 and one for 19. And then 2 explosive runs that are over 10 yards. And we shouldn't have any of those. Those ones really pissed me off. So you're going to see a huge emphasis because we will +1 people and not allow people to run the ball. And sometimes that's going to mean we put the DBs in some really precarious positions to make plays. Well, you know what? I told them at halftime, if you all can cover these suckers, we'll get the quarterback out of the game. And they covered them. They did a great job. So we've got that ability, but it drives me crazy that we gave up 67 yards rushing and we gave up 290 yards. We should have been a 158-yard game, and that's a dominant defense in today's age of football. 290 is not. It's good. It's okay. It's frustrating, but whatever. We get an opportunity to play this Saturday. And then now you've got the whole cliche, okay, we're 1-0. Okay, well, let's go 1-0 this week. Whatever. You know what? We got to be 1-0 today. Like, today was a really good practice, I thought. The energy and the effort was good. We got to continue to progress that because if you want to be a great football team and be dominant, you have a faceless opponent every week. You can't just get up because it's Kansas State, or you can't get up because it's Hawaii because it's game 1, or you can't get up because it's Weber State and they're going to come in here and try and, we have so many more things than they do, but guess what? When somebody has something more than you come in there and try to take it from them. And so they'll be in here. They play hard. They play really hard. And JMU's a good football team. They're 3 or 4 plays away from breaking some plays that make that a completely different football game. So if our guys take the attitude of it's going to be easy, we'll get our tails whipped. That's human nature. If they start listening to all y'all talk about, they're great and all this. Now, keep writing. The stuff about the first half and some of the articles like, they ran the ball on your – yeah, they heard that a whole bunch yesterday. Even though freaking City of Tucson thought they ran the ball on your tail. So that stuff, like that drives me freaking nuts when people can run the ball. And 67 yards in today's game, is that a lot of rushing? No, but for a team that doesn't want to run the ball and they run it on you 67 yards, that's on me. So that will be solved. I promise you that. There's a big emphasis today. What else we got?
That's it.
That's it, Brett? Okay.